Today, branding is an essential strategy for any business, and that includes faith-based schools. But as much as administrators understand that competing for students will require stepped-up marketing efforts, there's still misunderstanding and suspicion surrounding branding strategy. Is branding something faith-based schools really need to do? Hi, I'm Jack Peterson with Managing for Mission. Managing for Mission specializes in administrative consulting for faith-based schools. To me, it's clear that to ready themselves for the challenges ahead, each faith-based school must embrace its own unique brand. With the costs of education rising and a broadening range of educational choices, from magnet schools to charter schools, online academies, and homeschooling, it will be critical that we distinguish ourselves and create an understanding of and loyalty to our brand. But there's a way to do it without forsaking, or for that matter cheapening, our mission or our charism. The key is in how you define brand. In my work, I've come to define brand as how our mission looks to our publics. How our mission looks to our publics. We'd like to think that our mission dictates our brand, but it doesn't, at least not by itself. We can write the most accurate and compelling mission statement we want, but it won't prevent people from formulating their own mission statement for our school based on what they experience. Having an accurate and compelling mission statement is a good place to start, in fact, the right place to start. But we still have to ask how this will look to the families we exist to serve. Ignatius of Loyola, who founded the Jesuits, knew this as well as anyone. And the Jesuit ministries he inspired understand that simply having the right message isn't enough. We need to communicate it effectively. There's an old Jesuit saying, "Our education brings them in their door so that we can bring them out ours." The same concept applies to marketing our schools. People aren't always ready to hear our message, but by understanding what they are looking for, we can lead them to something deeper. So how do we do this? To answer that question, I'd like to draw on my experience working with the marketing firm J-Ray. J-Ray looks at brand as having three components, 3 P's if you will: position, personality, and promise. I like these 3 P's because they give me a strategy for approaching the challenge of branding, and they're congenial with the spirit of faith-based schools. Position is simply where people locate you in the spectrum of organizations which address the same needs you do. There may be other academically excellent schools in your catchment area, maybe even some more academically respected than yours. There may be other faith-based schools available. Your unique spot may be that you are the most academically superior faith-based school in your area. That may be your position in the market. Personality is how people experience your school on a human level. Are you strict and formal? Are you relaxed? Do you have a good sense of humor? Do you value creativity or discipline or both? Certainly each of your teachers has his or her own personality, but your school has a personality too. Hopefully that personality is an expression of the love and welcome implied by the Gospels and the school's spiritual charism. School personalities can't be fabricated, especially not for marketing purposes, but they're a good indicator of how well the loving spirit of Jesus is embraced by the school. If that's not well, work needs to be done at the root level. But if your personality does express your underlying charism, the school should acknowledge and broadcast it. The personality should be reflected in the speeches given by the president or the principal, in the way the website looks, in the photos chosen for publications, and in the types of media the school chooses to communicate with. The word promise is a great way to look at mission. J-Ray would ask, what is it you promise to do every day as a school? Do you promise to be welcoming every day to everyone? Do you promise to create a safe environment, to challenge all students to their full potential? Do you promise to graduate students who are open to growth, intellectually competent, loving, religious, and committed to justice? And do you promise to work toward that every day? One of the things I like about this approach is that it is not, as many assume, outside in. We often picture an ad agency coming up with a catchy phrase that tests well with consumer research, and then creating an ad campaign that creates an image for the business. But that isn't really how it works. Well, maybe it works for some businesses, but it won't work for faith-based schools. Brand has to begin at the very core of who the school is and radiate outwards. J. Ray describes this as a pebble in a pond with the waves radiating out from the center. Teachers and office staff and custodians and coaches all have to understand the school's promise as their promise and commit themselves to keeping it every day. The strategic plan is an important tool for aligning all members of the community around the position, personality, and promise that shape its brand. That's why Managing for Mission uses a strategic planning process with its clients that generates a high degree of stakeholder input. In their own ways, which are very corporate, companies like Apple and Starbucks have achieved high alignment with their employees. Companies whose employees live out their brand have given us a great example. It seems to me, however, that with the inspiration we're able to draw upon and the Holy Spirit acting at the very core of our schools, we should be able to show them how it's done. Your school has a great message to share. Aligning everything the school does around that core message is what we call Managing for Mission. If you'd like to learn more, please visit our website at managingformission.com. And keep up the great work of bringing the mission of faith-based education to families who may need it even more than they realize.